Hello friends, thanks for tuning in to this week's Brain Food video. Hey, if you give me 5 minutes, I'll give you 5 tips to improve the effectiveness of your next coffee meeting. So I've decided to break this up into 3 mini sections. 2 tips for before the meeting, 2 tips for during the meeting, and 1 tip for after the meeting. And the first tip for before the meeting is to make sure that you know the person's cell phone number and put that in the calendar invitation. So when I set up a calendar invite for a coffee meeting, I say, Jason and so, meeting of the minds is the subject for my coffee meeting. And then I'll put parentheses, Jason's cell and my cell number, and so-and-so's name, cell, and their cell number. And the reason I do this is that if something comes up the morning of the meeting, you can call them and let them know, hey, I'm running 5 minutes late. I cannot tell you how many times I've been at a coffee shop waiting 15 minutes for somebody, and when they get there, they say, I was running late, but I didn't have your cell phone number, so I couldn't let you know. So it's a really good idea to make sure you've captured everybody's cell phone numbers and put that in the calendar invite in case something comes up. The second tip is to research the person that you're meeting on LinkedIn. Go to their profile and really take a good look at what's going on. Who do you know in common with this person? Where do they go to school? Just all kinds of things that you might glean from their LinkedIn profile. I think it's important when you sit down to coffee with somebody, if you have something, because you've done your research, if you have something to share with them like, hey, I didn't know you went to Washburn University, or hey, I saw that you have scuba diver on your profile. That's cool. What it does is it starts the conversation with a good, positive energy because they know that you've done your research. They know that you took the time to research their profile on LinkedIn before you met them for coffee, which is, everybody likes that. It's good for all of our egos. It's like, oh, this matters to this person that they're meeting me for coffee and they took the time to research me a little bit before getting together. These next 2 tips are for during your coffee meeting. And the first one is just one of those things that nobody should have to say, but I'm going to say it anyway, is make sure that the conversation is balanced. So it's rare that this happens, but I have gone to coffee meetings with people before that have talked for 45 minutes of the hour we had scheduled, and at the very end they're like, so tell me a little bit about yourself, as we're supposed to be leaving in 10 minutes. And it's just an awkward situation. So just be mindful of that. If you feel like you've been talking for a while during the coffee meeting, it's probably a good time to slow that down, stop that, put a pin in that, and say, so tell me a little bit more about yourself. I've been talking for a little while. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Make sure the conversation is balanced. And the other thing that you need to do during the meeting is active listening. So this is one of those things that is another sign to the person that you're meeting with that you're listening, paying attention, and taking care with the information that they're sharing with you. So once they've gotten done saying something like, oh, I grew up doing banking in Wichita, Kansas, blah, 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 tell the story, this whole story that they've talked about for 5 minutes, and you can say, I love that you did banking in Wichita. I actually grew up in Wichita. I went to Northwest High School in Wichita. And, I know about so-and-so bank in Wichita. I think that's really cool. So what that does is it ties up the whole thing that you heard everything that they said, and you're tying it to what you know about the situation or what they were talking about, which already starts to feel like you're having a relationship with this person. I think that's active listening is a very good idea for during the meeting. And the last tip is what you could do after the meeting. When I'm done with a coffee meeting, I go to my car, I get out my cell phone, and I pull up the LinkedIn app. Because my thought there is, hey, I just spent an hour with somebody, I'm glad they took the time. And I want to tell them that. And I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone by sending them a connection request on LinkedIn while I thank them for meeting me for coffee. So I pull up the LinkedIn app, I go to their profile on LinkedIn, and I click the 3 little dots because on mobile you have to go in there and add a note. It's kind of complicated, but go in there and you have to add a note. You don't want to send the canned message on LinkedIn from the mobile app. So you hit the 3 dots and choose personalized invite or add a note, whatever that language is. And I'll say, hey, thanks for meeting me for coffee. And I might mention something that we talked about. And then I click send, and now they've got a LinkedIn connection request. So now I'm linked in with them as well as thanking them for the time. Well, I hope you got some value from this video and that it makes your next coffee meeting even more effective. Whether it's the cell phones or active listening or sending an invitation from the parking lot when you're done, hopefully one of those things made you think, huh, I'll add that to the next time I'm doing a coffee meeting. Hope you're having a great week. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can do that with the links below, and I'd really appreciate the like, any comments, or you subscribing to the channel. I'll see you next week.